The 2016 college football season gets into full swing today, including the 6th-ranked Auburn Tigers taking on the Louisville Cardinals in a game you can see here on CBS. It's an important matchup for both sides, but also a personal challenge for Cardinals quarterback Reggie Bonnafon, driven to show his strength after the passing of his father last year.
The same day that I had buried my father, a couple hours later, I was finding out I was going to make my first career start that following week.
He knew that he needed to get back Sunday night and start preparing to be the starter the next week. You know, it was a chance for him to get away from the tragedy a little bit. But I never could imagine he was as mature as he was and could handle it the way that he did.
You can see more of that feature during CBS pregame coverage for Auburn-Louisville, starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Joining us now to talk about that game and the season ahead is Brian Jones, a studio analyst for CBS Sports. Brian, good morning.
Good morning.
That's got to be a very inspirational thing for a
It
team.
is very inspirational. Anytime we can unface mask these guys and show their humanity, that's going to be a plus. This is a wonderful young man. You know, you look at his stats from a season ago when he was thrust into action after their starting quarterback, Will Gardner, was injured. They're not that gaudy, but yet he picked up the pieces from the loss of his father and went out there and tried to help his team succeed. So you tip your hat to anyone who has to go through a tragedy like that and immediately get back on the field or get back to work and try to concentrate on your craft.
It's so touching, too. They were such good friends. Who are you picking between Auburn and Louisville, though? Because everyone's talking about how good Auburn is.
Well, Auburn, we'll see. They're breaking in a new quarterback. We'll see who's going to be the quarterback at Louisville. Both of these offensive coaches, Gus Malzahn at Auburn and Bobby Petrino at Louisville, come well regarded in that space as far as building quarterbacks and offenses. So you look at Jeremy Johnson taking over for Nick Marshall, who was more of a dual threat guy. Jeremy Johnson, a big, tall quarterback. Will Auburn run the ball as much with this quarterback, or will they just unleash that howitzer of an arm he has? Bobby Petrino is used to a guy like a Jeremy Johnson, a pocket passer. Now he's got Bonnafon or Gardner, others that they're considering to play the position. So will he go more of the role of the dual threat guy? So you look at this, you may have two coaches pretty much switching roles, one going with a pocket pass who's not used to that, and one going with a dual threat guy.
The SEC is a perennial powerhouse in college football. Who do you like this year there?
I tell you what, it's going to be wild and woolly once again in the West. You got Auburn. We were just talking about Alabama, of course, will be there. They've got a big one tonight versus Wisconsin. They've got their own quarterback issues. They're trying to figure out who's going to start tonight versus the Badgers. LSU's back in the mix. Brandon Harris will get a start. He was a true freshman a season ago. Didn't avail himself too well, but LSU is always stacked. Ole Miss, they're not going anywhere. They got one of the best defensive linemen in the nation in Robert Kimdichie. So it's going to be crazy once again in the West. In the East, I like Georgia. I think Georgia, they've named their quarterback, a young man, Grayson Lambert, who transferred from Virginia. They've got all the pieces you need, from running back with Nick Chubb. They keep running backs there. I think they just grow them on campus or something. Get some of that fertilizer, running back fertilizer. And they've got it. They're in the second year of defensive coordinator Jeremy Pruitt, who was at Alabama, who was at Florida State, won like 3 straight national titles as an assistant at those programs. So I like Georgia and East. Tennessee, I better say Tennessee. Y'all got that chef back there, my man, Tim Love. You know, he went to Tennessee. I like Tennessee and what Butch Jones is doing there. Are they there yet? I'm not so sure. I would still give Georgia the edge in the East.
Let's talk about Jim Harbaugh, because we've certainly seen a lot of NFL coaches go to
Trip, stone cold Trip.
Well, how do you think he's going to do at the University
I think
of
he's going to do well, if not for his quarterback the other night, Jake Rudock, making freshman mistakes. Here's a guy who's had a ton of starts at the University of Iowa. That's why nobody was crying when he left Iowa. You see all those interceptions he threw the other night, 3. I mean, he was woeful. He missed open wide receivers, the 3 picks, but yet Michigan still had an opportunity to win that ball game. Jim Harbaugh can coach. We might not like his quirkiness. He may be surly, mercurial, all those things, but he won at the University of San Diego. He won at Stanford. Michigan will win under his tutelage.
One sentence. Does Ohio State repeat?
Ohio State repeats, Anthony.
I like it, with conviction.
Firm answer there.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Going to go out and get me some running back fertilizer. Brian Jones,
Can I say hook them to my horns tonight as they take on Notre Dame?
All
Hook
right.
them.
All right, get it in.